I would say that Monet had two very formative artist mentors. One of them was Boudin, and the other Jonkind. He met Boudin in Le Havre, where he grew up. They met at a framing shop where Monet would sell caricatures that he drew when he was young. And I think Boudin had a great influence on Monet. Actually, in the exhibition, you'll see an example of a painting where Monet and Boudin would go out into nature together. And so we have the first painting in the Monet catalog Raisonné, and there is a counterpart picture, a companion picture by Boudin. And I think when you see these two images together, it is undeniable the influence that Boudin had on Monet. I think at the same time, Monet is not shy about letting this be known. There is a quote where he says, "If I became an artist, it is to Boudin that I owe that fact." So yeah, I think he was the first formative artist mentor. Another, I would say, was Jonkind. And where Boudin taught Monet about painting outside and paying attention to the weather conditions and the lighting in the sky, Boudin, or Jonkind rather, introduced Monet to this approach of knowing spontaneity. So Jonkind would use rapid brush strokes or vigorous brushwork and penmanship to render a scene very quickly. And I think when you think about the development of Impressionism, when Jonkind kind of introduced Monet to this approach, you can see how maybe that idea germinated a bit, and Monet developed this into a new style with his peers. One thing that's quite interesting about Monet is that he lived near the banks of the River Seine his entire life. So the River Seine is kind of the thread that weaves the fabric, I would say, of Monet's career. But I think one thing that fascinated Monet about water, and not just the Seine, is its reflective qualities. I think he was fascinated, if you look, for example, at his paintings in Venice, with the way that architecture is reflected in water. And he would often employ a method of alternating brushstrokes between a color to represent water and a color to represent the reflection, and this is how he would render water and its reflective qualities. There are a number of precursors, not many in the history of Western art, however, maybe in 17th century Netherlandish painting, but I think when Monet started to take interest in snow, the reason was because he was an avid collector of Japanese prints. And often in these prints, artists would represent falling snow, which was something that was unprecedented in Western art. So I do think that Monet was influenced in some regard by the prints. I also think that he was looking at the hunting scenes of Courbet a little bit, and how Courbet used the color blue to represent the color of the shadows, like on a snowy winter's day.